Hey guys, what's up? It's Nick, and today I'm going to be doing something a little different, but something I want to kind of start. I'm going to be going over and kind of breaking down the upcoming 2012 schedules for teams. What I'm going to be doing is going over each game, talking about the teams that they're playing a little bit, and going over if the team's going to win or lose. And then at the end, giving kind of a final schedule, or not final schedule, final win-loss, and yeah. So in the background here is Eagles versus the Browns. This is actually the first game of the season. It is going to be on September 9th, and it is the Eagles at the Browns, like I said. And I think the Eagles are going to win this game. With the quarterback disarray in Cleveland, them not knowing if they want to stick with Colt McCoy, which I think they should. Colt McCoy is a pretty good quarterback. If I were the Browns, I would stay with him. I wouldn't draft Ryan Tannehill. But I don't know. Colt McCoy hasn't done that great, so I could see why they would want to draft somebody else. But I still don't think the Browns will beat the Eagles week 1. But it is an away game for the Eagles, starting off the season away from home. Not easy. But I still think the Eagles can pull that out. Second game for them is the Baltimore Ravens, their first home game. The Ravens, one of the best defensive teams, probably they're up there defensively with the Steelers, the Jets, I would say, the Broncos. The Eagles. The Eagles can be a good defensive team if they have their linebacker core, because they have the great perimeter defense. And the Giants. The Giants have a really good defense, and the Packers. They're up there with all those teams on defense. But their offense is just terrible. So if the Eagles can just get I would say 21 points on the board, I think they win that game easily. Ah, dang it, I didn't get on the outside. Okay. Second game, their third game is again away from home. So the 2 out of their first 3 games are away, and their third game is going to be against the Arizona Cardinals at Arizona. And I don't see Arizona presenting much of a threat, even though Arizona did beat them last year. But I don't see much of a threat in Arizona. So I would see them beating Arizona unless Larry Fitzgerald has some blowout game. Kevin Cobb delivering some passes. Because I'm thinking that they're going to stick with the same quarterback. They're not going to switch it up or anything. But I could be wrong. They could draft a quarterback or something and switch it up a little bit. But so far, the Eagles are either going to be 3-0 or 2-1, I believe, depending on if the Ravens can beat them. Next, they go on to Sunday Night Football on September 30th against the New York Giants at home. The Giants, coming off the Super Bowl championship, they will be one of the toughest teams to beat, not losing many players and going strong. But I do think the Eagles, being resurged, they did beat them with Vince Young the last time they played. They do have some good confidence against them, and I think that if they pretty much swept their division last year. Except for that one loss to New York, they swept the division. And the only loss was the very first time they started. They started 0-1 in the division, and they swept it the rest of the season. So once they figured out their little mess up at the beginning of the season, starting out 1-4, they got it together and they decided they swept the division, and then they ended 4-0. So I don't know. I'm not entirely sure on this game either. This game and the Ravens game are kind of undecided. So they're going to come to this. They could be 3-2, 4-1, or 5-0. Sorry. 4-0, 2-2, or 3-1. I'm not 100% sure, but it should be one of those. The next game though I think will be their very first loss. It's against the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh on October 7th, and I think Pittsburgh just has a too good of defense, and I think Troy Polamalu presents the necessary coverage at the safety position that none of the teams that they play before it. Well, never mind. Baltimore has Ed Reed. Never mind. But Troy Polamalu presents the necessary presence back there that Ed Reed seems to lack a little bit that Troy Polamalu has, and I think that Troy Polamalu will shut Michael Vick down, unlike Ed Reed will. I think Troy Polamalu will have a better game than Ed Reed will against the Eagles, and that'll be their defeat. So I'm thinking it's 4-1 at this point. Their next game, Week 6, October 14th, will be against the Detroit Lions at home. So they start out away, home, away, home, away, home. And then they'll go into their bye. But let me pick this game real quick. So this will be against Matthew Stafford and Megatron, aka Calvin Johnson. But this is actually the Detroit defense, other than their line, is not all that great. They give up a bunch of points, and they just score a bunch of points. That's how they get most of their wins. How they got knocked out of the playoffs last year was by not being able to quite get enough points. They knocked out by the Saints, and the reason was they weren't able to get enough points up on that board. So I don't know if the Eagles have the presence on offense this year that they didn't have last year. I'm thinking that they can walk into Detroit or stay at home and knock off the Detroit Lions. The next game is against Atlanta. The Falcons are a stellar team, but they're kind of ailing after their excellent season last year. After getting knocked off by the Giants in the opening round of the playoffs, I don't think they're as good as they once were, and Michael Vick is looking to get that win against Atlanta that he didn't get last year after he got hurt. So I think Michael Vick takes that game against Atlanta. So they're actually doing pretty good, but the next game against New Orleans is going to be a very hard-fought game. But again, I think they pull it out because without Sean Payton, I just don't think this will be the same New Orleans team that it's been. I don't even think New Orleans will make the playoffs this year. They may have all their players, but without Sean Payton, I don't know if they can do it. I feel like Atlanta, Tampa Bay, and Carolina will wreak havoc down there in that division, and without Sean Payton coaching, and I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can take that division. I don't know. I don't think they'll win the division. I think Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers will be the dark horse coming out of that division, and I think Atlanta will follow them up second, and New Orleans is going to have to fight and scrap to get third. Their next game is against Dallas on November 11th. Dallas has never. Philadelphia and Dallas have had like a rivalry kind of the past few seasons, but Dallas has never really knocked them off. I actually went to a Dallas game last year. I was hoping to get to go to the Dallas Philadelphia game down there, but the Dallas Philadelphia game was on New Year's Eve, so I just couldn't get to that game. But I ended up going to the Dallas St. Louis game. That's beside the point. This game, I believe that the Eagles will win. Dallas, Tony Romo and company. The offense is good. The offense has the pieces, but their defense, I don't know. Their defense is just not that great. Their defense, they have a decent defense, but their offense, they just put too much attention to their offense and not enough to their defense. I don't think they have pieces on the defense that are good. They have young quarterbacks and stuff like that, but their defense just isn't the greatest. The next game, though, is against the Redskins. If the Redskins, it looks like you're going to get RG3, and that could be an interesting matchup. Michael Vick and RG3 up against each other. I know it's not really a matchup with quarterbacks, but that's how people look at it. So this will be a very interesting matchup. It'll be the first time that they meet this season, and it's at the Redskins. But RG3, young quarterback, we're not entirely sure on how well he's going to play. So I'm gonna have to pick the Eagles to win this game. Next game is against the Panthers, and my dark horse coming out of the NFC South, and I'm forgetting my divisions. The NFC South. I'm gonna have to pick the Panthers on Monday Night Football over the Eagles. Not like I don't want the Eagles to beat the Panthers, but I'm thinking the Panthers are gonna beat the Eagles. It's at Carolina, and I feel like Cam Newton's gonna have a big game. He's gonna find Steve Smith, and I feel like the Panthers are gonna come out of that one on top. The next game is a game I'm hoping to get to go to this year. It's the Cowboys-Eagles Sunday Night Football on December 2nd, and I believe the Eagles will walk in there. They did it last year, Sunday Night Football. I remember this game, Sunday Night Football at the Cowboys. This was a New Year's Eve game. It was at the Cowboys, and they walked in there and they beat them. That was a game with Vince Young, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. But then the next game is at Tampa Bay. Now this is a hard game for me to pick. I don't know. They were one of my other dark horses coming out of the NFC South. But I'm gonna still have to go with the Eagles over the Bucks. Josh Freeman is a really good quarterback. I think maybe not this year, but next year he's going to be a good quarterback. He just needs a little bit more teaching and going through with that offense. They need to bring in maybe one more receiver for him, and he'd be good to go. He's going to be a good quarterback. He just needs a little bit more time to develop, and he'll be good. The next game is against the Bengals. The Bengals with Andy Dalton and AJ Green. They're going to be a contender this year. Maybe not for the Super Bowl, but they're going to be a contender. But I'm still going to go with the Eagles. I don't think that defense has enough, and nor do I think Andy Dalton has enough. I have to pick the Eagles again. The Redskins. This is RG3 once again. The matchup in Week 16. But I'm going to have to pick the Eagles again. And then the final week at the Meadowlands against the Giants. This is a pretty easy pick for me. I'm going to have to go with the Giants here, unless it is do or die for the Eagles. If it's do or die and the Eagles need one more game to get into the playoffs or win the division or get like the #1 seed, I will have to go with the Eagles, because the Eagles in clutch situations last year seemed to pull through, seemed to get that win at the end of the season. So I do have confidence in them now. Last season I had zero confidence in them, as that season, about midway through the season, when they were 4-8, I predicted that they would go 4-0 the rest of the season, but nobody really else was trusting in them. But they did it, and now I believe that they have the clutch factor to win out on those big stages, or not big stages, those big games when they really need it. So that brings us to the number of brings us to the win-loss. The game, or to me to talk about their win-losses, and so let me count them up here. I think they're going to lose to Pittsburgh, Carolina, New York, and Baltimore. So I think they're going to go 12-4 this year. I know I did say that Baltimore was an iffy, but I actually do think they're going to beat them. I did say Troy Polamalu is going to have a better game, but I do think Ed Reed will shut him down. I do think it's going to be a very close game, and I do think that it could happen that the Eagles could beat them, but I'm just not sure. Ed Reed is just a monster, and I don't know exactly That game could go either way. It just depends on if Ed Reed explodes and if Joe Flacco can score, and if Ray Rice can carry Flacco. That's really what it depends on. But that leaves them at 12-4, and this year would have been good enough to put them into the playoffs and secure them with the number 2 seed. I think would have secured them the number 2 seed. But this year, I think a 12-4 record will secure them only the number 3 seed. I think there will be a team 15-1 maybe out of the East, and maybe 14-2 or 13-3. There's going to be teams up there. There's going to be some good teams with some good records this year. So I don't know if a 12-4 record will secure them a bye. But I'm just hoping my Eagles can make the playoffs this year. So I will take anything out of them this year. Okay, no, I thought I was going to throw an interception there. So I'm just going to take anything from them. Some of the iffy games on the schedule that I'm hoping that they can pull out are the Baltimore game, the 2 New York games against the Giants. Oh my God, I threw the interception to Hayden while I was looking at my laptop. I'm gonna have to hold him here. Nothing about this. Sorry. I'm playing this game live while I'm thinking about this. So hold on, let me get my blitz. 4-1-6. No. 3-3-5. Okay, there we go. Okay, sorry. The Baltimore Ravens, the 2 Giants games, the Pittsburgh Steelers game, the Lions game, the Falcons game, the Saints game, the Panthers game, and the Buccaneers game. Those are the games that I'm really gonna be watching and concerned about. Well, not like concerned about. You know what I mean? Like. Not 100% definite, like I would bet money that they're going to win this game. The Cowboys game, I mean, they could lose them. I mean, it's not like, oh, it's the Cowboys, that's a free win. I mean, no. But the Cowboys are like no pushover team, but I mean, they're not the best team on the schedule. I mean, I can't be like, oh, every team, I fear that the Eagles are going to lose. No, I can't be like that. But those teams that, I mentioned, I gotta let Greg a little score. I'll leave myself time to score a touchdown. But those times that I mentioned, because if you're wondering why I let Greg a little score there, if I wouldn't have, they would have been in field goal range, and I only have 2 timeouts, which means they could have ran the clock down for like 2 seconds. So yeah, that's why I did that. But those teams I mentioned are the best teams that I believe that they face on their schedule. The Giants present the biggest threat out of the East, I believe. I really believe that the Cowboys should have come out of the East last year, but still. Oh, Dion Lewis! If he wouldn't have got tripped there, ooh, I think I should have Deshaun Jackson as my return man, but somehow it always auto sets Lewis as my return man. Nice, never changed it. Riley Cooper. Why Riley Cooper? Why didn't I throw it to Riley Cooper? Oh, okay. I'm gonna throw one Hail Mary, one more Hail. No, just get the first down. Okay. But yeah, the Saints though, I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait till the season starts to really know if the Saints are for real this season or how real good they are. Because without Sean Payton, I don't know how good they are. I don't know if Drew Brees is gonna be there since they haven't signed him to a long-term contract yet. So I'm not 100% sure how good Drew Brees is gonna be this year. Come on. Oh, that's game. That's game. Unless I tackled him at the 2. Let's see here. Let's go with this. Oh my God! I thought it was about to break loose. I was like, oh, Peyton Hillis. Like a mouse. Like a mouse, Peyton Hillis. Oh, like a mouse. Oh, Peyton Hillis breaking it free in that game. Oh, wait for me to lose when I'm doing a live cam. Wait for me to lose. But guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any suggestions for teams that I should do, I'm gonna do the Patriots tonight. So don't suggest the Patriots. But if you guys enjoyed this, drop it a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so. I'd really appreciate it. And usually I don't lose. So don't take this as like, oh man, I'm checking out his first video. Yeah. But yeah, I'm going to be doing the Patriots, so suggest some. I probably am going to be doing the Chargers too. So if you want to suggest the Chargers, to do that, but I'm probably going to be doing them too. And I'm probably going to be doing the Cowboys too. So you can suggest those, but those will probably be ones I do anyway, even if you suggest those. I'm also going to be doing some draft overlooks and like breakdowns. I'm going to be doing one Thursday for day 1 for round 1, and a breakdown for Friday for rounds 2 and 3. And I might do one for Saturday and Sunday, but I don't know if it's really necessary because those aren't really big draft breakdown days, because it's like 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. But so those aren't really important draft breakdown days. But I'm probably going to do them anyway. But guys, if you enjoyed the video, drop it a like. I probably already said that. But I will catch you guys later. Peace out, guys.